Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our recovery support group. This is our MIT recovery support group, and my name is Craig. And today I'm going to be sharing an article offline that I found, and it's by greenhillrecovery.com. You can retrieve this article. In the article that I am speaking on is life skills for recovery after addiction treatment. You can see it scrolling at the bottom of your screen. We're going to be sharing some information on life skills for recovery after addiction treatment. So let's get right into our first topic of discussion. What are life skills? The article informs us that life skills are incredibly important to develop after addiction treatment. All right. Not only will these skills help individuals succeed in daily life, but they are necessary for living an independent life. Life skills cover a broad area. These skills are important for performing nearly every task in daily life. They can be as mundane as learning how to tie a shoelace to as essential as proper communication and interpersonal skills. Typically, life skills are defined in six key areas, that is, according to the World Health Organization. These areas are life skills include communication and interpersonal skills, creative and critical thinking, problem solving and effective decision-making, self-awareness, assertiveness and self-control, resilience, and the ability to cope, right? And so, Abraham, good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon. Glad you can make it. And so those are the six life skills that this article make mention of. It goes on to inform us, while this list is not an exhaustive list of skills, all these traits are important to be able to live independently and be successful during recovery, all right? So these are some skills that we can incorporate into our lifestyle and our new lifestyle. And so it says to avoid relapse, it is important to take all these skills into account and reflect on one's strengths and challenges, all right? Some areas you may be strong in, some areas it may be challenging. However, don't let that deter you if you're struggling in one area. Always work on improving your areas of weakness and continue to grow, all right? It goes on to say, it may also help to talk to a mental health professional to identify any lagging life skills. Sound very interesting. Always reach out for help if you need help. Next, we want to talk about and share is why are life skills important for recovery? Let's see why. Although refraining from using substances is the most obvious step in addiction recovery, there are several other steps that the individual will have to go through to avoid relapse and proceed with the recovery process. To fully recover from an addiction, the individual must reflect on the past issues that may have impacted their addiction from the start, right? Past issues, right? Once these life skills and potential issues have been identified, the individual can attend therapy or work with a mental health professional to start to redevelop these skills. All right, what skills are we talking about? Let's start with the first one. Personal life skills after treatment. What that look like or sounds like. After treatment, individuals must learn to develop personal life skills, such as communication, empathy, and interpersonal skills. These skills are important for repairing past relationships, maintaining past relationships, and developing new relationships. Let me read that again. These skills are important for repairing past relationships, all right, maintaining past relationships, and developing new relationships. Hmm. Next one, we're going to talk about some life skills dealing with self-care. This is very vital for anyone that's uh, in recovery, whether it's short-term, long-term. Self-care is very important. All right, whether you're in recovery or not, life itself requires that we have self-care. All right, so it says while it is a buzzword, self-care is one of the most important activities that anyone can partake in to feel good, right? Self-care can be as simple as going for a daily walk or taking some time to oneself. But the key is that the activity is something that the individual enjoys doing. That's the key. Find something that you really enjoy doing for self care and stick with it. All right. And if you want to venture out and find some new self care activities, so be it. Help yourself. Next one, having daily routines. Daily routines can help maintain life skills. For that reason, it is important to establish a routine that works with an individual schedule and make sticking to it a priority. All right. So you got a routine, stick with it. All right. So practice make perfect and all that. Persistent, overcome resistant. All those good buzzwords or phrases really, really it's good if you apply them. Managing stress. This includes myself, anyone, when we're talking about life skills. Remember, I am someone who is in recovery. I am a peer recovery uh, coach, and so I I have to manage my stress level as well. I have to manage relationship, my communication. I must have empathy. All these things apply to myself, and so don't feel that you are all alone because we all in it together, and so we're here to learn some new ways of how to manage not only stress but manage life. Because life can have a lot of stresses. Let's see what the article says. It says, because stress is one of the leading causes of relapse, it is important to use coping mechanism to properly manage stress. Additionally, an individual must be able to identify when they are feeling stressed and locate potential triggers to properly manage that stress, right? And so that is so vital to all of us that's in recovery, being able to identify stressors, all right? What things can trigger us, what things can set us back, what things can make us have bad thoughts and ideas, and how we respond to those bad thoughts and ideas, all right? That's key role. Now, the next one talks about emotional control. The article says emotional control is important to maintain not only relationships, but oneself. All right? Oneself as well. Substance use harms executive functioning, which is an individual's ability to control impulses and manage themselves. Let me read that again for all of us that's in recovery, all of us that may be dealing with emotional control. This article says substance use harms executive functioning, which is an individual ability to control impulses and manage themselves. It would take time to regain control of one's emotions, but self care and stress management are great ways to do so. All right. So I hope this information has some validity to it. I hope that we all can apply these mechanism, these coping skills, because they are very much needed when we're talking about life skills for recovery after addiction treatment. So the title of today's lesson is Life Skills for Recovery After Addiction Treatment. All right. And so next we want to share important life skills needed after rehab. While many life skills involve being able to cope with stressful emotions and manage one's stress, other life skills involve tasks that help the individual live independently and without the assistance of others. Some of the other life skills that will likely be needed after rehab include the following: finding a job, right? Finding a job. You may say, well, okay, that's self-knowledge. That's something that I know that I need, because why that's important. This article is going to tell us why it's important. It says finding employment post-rehab can be difficult. However, here we go. Some rehabilitation centers will help in applying for jobs and resume help. All right. And so why that's important, because one need to be sustainable in life, or independent living, or independent lifestyle. That's important to be employed. And so if someone is struggling with resume, I know back in the day we didn't have to do resume for applying for employment. All right. And so I'm from the era from back in the day. And so I was born in the 60s. And so growing up, when I first started applying for jobs, resume wasn't a requirement. Now it is. And so one of the things about resume is that you can always, if you don't know how to do resumes, you can always seek librarians. You can always go to your neighborhood community centers, and you can always ask social workers. You can ask a recovery coach. You could come to Capital Recovery Center, and we can all help in that area. If you are lacking in those areas, always don't be afraid just because you don't know something, because there's going to be always somebody who's going to know something that you don't know. And so don't be afraid to ask for help, because people are willing to help those who are willing to help themselves. All right. So be encouraged by what I'm saying, because I had to learn it. All right. And like I said, I'm from the old school. We didn't have to do it, but then I learned it. Whether you're coming out of incarceration, a lot of people feel that just because they're coming out of incarceration, or they never had full-time gainful employment, they don't meet the requirements of being employed, or they may think that they are unemployable. But that is far from the truth, because we all have some type of skill that we can present to an employer and let them know that we are willing to apply for the job and do the job well. All right, because some people are very quick learners. Don't sell yourself short. Please do not sell yourself short when it comes to resume writing. Once you see how it is done, you'll say, wow, this is easy. Like Floyd Mayweather often say, easy work. All right. So let's move on. Managing your finances. This is also major. Managing one's money is important to achieving independence. Some of the aspects of managing one's finances include opening a big account. It didn't say bank account. This article, I'm looking right at it. It says opening a big account. I like the sound of that. Saving money, paying off debt. All right. And learning to live on a budget. one of the biggest mistakes that I've learned when I when I came out of addiction treatment and incarceration. I thought that by getting debit cards, I know I had to build my credit score. Credit score wasn't something back in the day, but now it is. And so one of the ways I was told to build a credit score, or my credit score, was to seek debit cards. And one thing I did was I began to apply for debit cards. I was approved for debit cards. And one of the things was that my credit score did go up. However, if you don't pay your debit card payments on time, then you're gonna find yourself paying more than you would normally pay if you pay them on time. So be mindful of that. I was someone who felt in the, I don't want to say trap, I felt in the realm of paying the credit card payments. However, sometimes I will fall behind because I will forget. And so if you do have a debit card, if you have a bank account, apply for what they call, let me get it right, automatic payment, where the money automatically comes out your bank account on time, every time. Word to the wise. All right, let's move on. Home maintenance. It is important to maintain one's home. Home maintenance does not necessarily mean learning plumbing or electrical work, but simply that the individual must learn how to clean a home and make sure that all appliances and systems are operating safely. All right, that's self-explanatory. All right, now, cooking is another one. Cooking and understanding nutrition are important skills for living a healthy lifestyle. Now, a lot of times people may not be aware about nutrition. I'm not a person who really follow that rule, which I should, because a lot of times, due to us living an abnormal lifestyle, oftentimes we would eat a lot of fast food. We would eat a lot of candy bars and cookies and things, stuff that is malnutritious, and things that can later on cause us to have a lot of medical bills, a lot of health problems along the way, diabetes, high blood sugar, high blood pressure, and things of that nature. All right. And so we want to be mindful of that. Let's move right into the next topic of discussion. I hope you're still with me, Mr. Abraham, and I hope you're enjoying what you hear. Put something in the comment if you like what you hear, or if you want to comment on this article thus far. Life skills for recovering addicts. While many treatment centers will offer group discussions and treatment sessions that discuss life skills, the recovering individual must understand the best ways to maintain and recovery and avoid relapse. When it comes down to the definition, life skill training is based in self-care and recognizing potential triggers. All right. One of these life skills for recovering addicts is avoid risky situations. All right. Because relapse can occur if the recovering individual sees people or passes places associated with past substance use. That individual should avoid any attempting or risky situation that could compromise their recovery. Avoid risky situations, people, places, and things. All right. Next one, develop coping mechanism. That's the idea here. Hopefully, those who watching here, if you ever been into therapeutic program or integrated help program, if you ever been in NA and AA, residential or outpatient IOP, hopefully there was some coping skills lessons that were taught, and hopefully that we retain. And that's the main thing about coping skills. Just it's good to hear them, all right? It's good to listen to them. One thing is to listen to them, but the other thing is to apply the information. And so one of the ways to be able to apply the information, we have to be able to retain the information, all right? So we want to talk about developing coping mechanisms. Many people first turn to drugs or alcohol to cope with stressful life events or situations. Someone in recovery should figure out which coping mechanism work for them. Let me read that again. Someone in recovery should figure out which coping mechanism work for them. The coping mechanism could be as simple as taking the time to participate in deep breathing, all right? Behavior modification is one of the exercise that I learned that deals with deep breathing, or removing oneself from the situation to go for a walk outside, all right? Behavioral modification, desensitization is a good exercise where you begin to take focus on your inner thoughts, your inner breathing, your inner self, whereas you begin to reflect on not only what's going on within, but also those things that's going on around you. Be able to listen to it in a calm, peaceful manner, blocking out any distraction. And so some of the, I don't want to say one, but one of the, well, I'm going to say it anyway, one of the coping mechanisms that I use besides people, places, and things, I like to use the positive reinforcement exercise or module that helps me a lot. Positive reinforcement. Also, one of the other ones is the ABC module. All right, an ABC module consists of the activating events, which is A. B is the core, the belief system. What is your belief? How does that play? And C is the consequences, positive or negative. And so whatever activating events that's present, how do I perceive that activating event through my thought process, on how do I believe it to the core? Is it true or is it false? Should I look at it from a perspective of positive or negative when it comes to consequences? Because that's going to be the action or the end result. So that's the ABC module, a short version, not the long version. All right, let's go on. Managing stress and emotions. Figuring out how to identify one's emotions and interpret them is a difficult thing to achieve. However, when someone is recovering from substance abuse, they can reflect continuously on their emotions and how emotions impact their behavior. Listen up. Once the emotions have been identified, it's easier to employ a coping mechanism and figure out a way to remove the stress. This is really good. Managing stress and emotion, being able to identify the emotion, right? And how does it make you feel? Are you feeling in a way that bringing about negative thoughts or action? Is the emotion is too at a level or degree whereas it heighten your sense of responding aggressively? And if so, how do you take the negative and turn it into a positive? All right. You heard earlier it says by walking away or going for a walk. All right. And so that is one of the, you could do the breathing exercise, take a self evaluation of yourself. All right. If you feel that you're getting to the boiling point, then you may want to walk away. All right. And then assess the situation. Once you are feeling much calmer or peaceful, then come back and resolve it through conflict resolution skills as well. All right, so let's move on. Developing a routine. Developing a healthy routine can be a great way to assist in recovery. All right, by sleeping well at night, that's one. Maintaining a healthy diet, that's two. Getting physical exercise, that's three. And employing self care, that's four. All right, those four healthy routine, the individual may be able to reduce the likelihood of a relapse. All right. Sober living can include a set of life skills. Let's move on to the next topic. Sober living can include a set of life skills. All right, this article says living in a stable, alcohol and drug free environment can be a crucial step to recovery. All right, and I know a lot of people, and unfortunately, everybody is not going to be able to remove themselves or go to a place where alcohol and drug is not present, or people that live in a household that's drug free, and those are some of the vices that can hinder a lot of people from developing their full potential in their recovery. And so one of the ways that I think is a very helpful tool is sober living, where, just as this article says, living in a stable, alcohol and drug-free environment can be a crucial step to recovery. However, this environment can be difficult to find, all right, which is so true. Many individuals choose to go to a sober living facility as part of their recovery. Sober living is a safe place where an individual lives with other people who are also recovering from substance addiction. All right. And so if you find yourself coming out of rehab or residential treatment and you're returning back to the same environment where you once left, and you're trying and you really, really want to turn this lifestyle around, and there is alcohol or drugs constantly being presented, if you can, please try to find a sober living house. Find a agency that can fund you. So we work for Cumberland County Human Services, a mental health and addiction division, where there is funding available for those who are a resident of our county. And so each county in the state of New Jersey has a human service department, and hopefully they have the funding. And so we have funding, and sometimes funding may run out. However, it's our job to try to find other resources to help people find sober living. All right, and so let's move on. All right, and so the next one, living in recovery, right? And so we know people, sober living can include a set of life skills, but living in recovery, what that look like? Recovering from substance use addiction is more than simply abstaining from using alcohol or drugs. I had to find that out. Not when, it was being taught, being presented while I was in the therapeutic treatment program about anger management, conflict resolution, about how to communicate with people, and how to be able to have rational thinking. So that all of that was being presented, but I was mainly, just keeping focused on myself. I mainly was really focusing on finding a way how to not use alcohol and drugs again. And so that was my main focus. And so once I came back into society, I began to learn that interacting with people and sometimes or situations is going to require me to utilize my problem solving skills, my communication skills, anger management skills. And so those are underlying factors that a lot of us, we really have to address as well. Mental health, if that's an issue, that need to be addressed as well, because we want the holistic approach of being a healthy person. All right, all the way around, all the way around. And so, if you never tried it, give it a try. If you fail or you fall, or if you don't succeed, don't give up. Don't give up. Keep on pushing yourself. Challenge yourself. One thing about challenging yourself, you'll be amazed how so much that you can achieve. You may think, say, man, this is a lot. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to. This is me. This is how I was thinking. I was in school full time. I'm working full time. I'm just dealing with life, and sometimes it would be taxing on my body and on my thought process. And after it was all said and done, I look back and I said, wow, you actually made it. You actually complete the task. And so if you find yourself in that situation, just keep pushing. Challenge is good. It's a growth and development stage. So keep pushing. Next one, being able to ask for help. This is the one that I'm going to end with, and that is being able to ask for help is an important life skill itself. Remember, I talked about resume writing, going to the library, asking the social worker, people help people who really willing to help themselves. And I wasn't just saying that to be saying it, because I learned it from experience. It says being able to ask for help is an important life skill itself. And it is also a great way to help avoid relapse. Identifying triggers and relapse warning sign is one step closer to managing substance abuse. But it is not complete with being able to ask for help. Additionally, no one should be afraid to ask for help. Let me read that again. No one should be afraid to ask for help. And living in a sober living facility may give the individual the courage to reach out if they need more support. All right. And so that's it for this week on life skills for recovery after addiction treatment. I hope that this information can be a motivational tool. I hope it can propel someone to the next level. I hope this information can be a thought process, a provoking thought process, where you can look within yourself and say, you know what? I think I could do this. I think I could turn this thing around. I'm strong enough. I'm able. All right. People are going to meet you where you at. And so no matter where you at, don't stop. Keep on moving. I believe you can do it. All right. I know if I can do it, you can do it as well. Until the next time, take care of yourself. stay healthy, utilize the coping tools that you have learned throughout your recovery journey. Uh, it's an everyday process. You know, people go through life uh, automatically knowing uh, the exact coping skills because it's all about choices. If you make the right choice, you're going to make the right decision. All right. And so until next time, take care of yourself. I'll be seeing you on the next one.